Yeah, I mean, first off, we wound up canceling duels for Thursday night against Western, and then on Saturday against CSU Pueblo, and of course, all COVID related. Not so much us as just some concerns there with it being so close to the regional tournament in 2 weeks, and so we definitely would like to wrestle those duels. We've been off for 3 weeks, so for us to take another 2 off is not ideal. But it's the way it is, and I think that's kind of where a lot of teams are right now. That safety of it, and if an athlete was to become positive next Monday or Tuesday, which they still could, it doesn't matter if you're at one of these schools or get it from somebody else. It can just happen, and we know that it was best just to cancel and kind of assume some of that risk and try not to put them out there, and they would not be able to be back by the time the regional hit. So that was our biggest concern, that we couldn't get them back with the protocol it takes to get an athlete back in that time frame with the 50, 100% practice times and all that. Just wouldn't happen. But we are excited to get the regional here in 2 weeks. So we don't have to travel, and it was going to be in Alamosa. They weren't able to host it in that, so we put our name in the hat, and we wound up getting it. So yep, we're excited about having it, and we had it in 2014, and we're looking forward to it. We feel like we've got a good bunch of guys, and look forward to wrestling it. I think it's gonna be great as long as everything can happen for us. So.
Coach, can I ask an ignorant question? How important is it for you guys to be hosting regionals here? How big is that for the school program?
Oh, I think anytime you can bring something to our campus, it's very important. I think it's great. I think we'll learn from some things that we did in 14 when we hosted it that we'll do different. We'll do some different things with our guys, train a little different. I think we've got a different bunch of guys than we had in 2014, which we had a pretty good team. If you remember, we won the conference in 2015, so a year later. So we had a good bunch then. But I think it's important. Anytime you can host is good. I mean, that's just, you're not on the road, which this year we haven't been on the road a whole lot, and we haven't been home a whole lot either. So it makes it nice that we'll be able to be at home as well. And the biggest thing is next year we're hosting the regional. That's on the calendar for us. Our biggest thing is we wouldn't lose it next year. With us hosting it this year, we wouldn't lose it next year. So, that was one thing we wanted to make sure of.
How do you, 5 weeks off is unheard of in wrestling. A couple of weeks here and there, you might, but how do you keep, obviously they're going to get physically any dings healed up and got some time with that, but how do you keep them sharp and not overtrain and undertrain?
I think we look at, Coach Mendoza and I's, experience with guys, and not trying to just run them into the ground certain weeks and not trying to be too easy certain weeks. We're changing it up, For example, tomorrow we got spin class or spin bike training in the morning at 6:30. Some things like that. Maybe try to hit a pool, pool workout. We're doing some things. Next Friday we're going to have a make weight day. Or no, I take that back. This Friday we're having a make weight day, and then we'll wrestle matches. Try to simulate it as much as you can, And every team's kind of in the same boat, so we're all probably have our own things that we're trying to do here. But just doing some different things. We've got a good bunch of guys, some good experience. So these guys know where we're at all year. We've been very fortunate. When you look around the country in that, this is our first 2 events that we've had to cancel, other than some previous ones at the beginning of the year. And San Francisco would have been last week, of course, but the 29th of January, I think, is when that was slated, somewhere in there. But anyway, we've had to cancel a few. But once we got rolling in January, we haven't had to cancel any. So our guys have really 7, 8 matches is as much as a lot of guys around the country right now. So we just think that we've got our guys believing. We have them believing in what we're doing. And the most important thing right now is regionals and nationals. That's what we're all striving for. Obviously we missed the national tournament last year, and we don't want our guys to miss that. So we're trying to, play it out as, with the experience we have, and the guys have bought into that. So I feel good about that, and we just keep working away. It is tough to come in and practice every day and not hit the mat, and not see competition and all that. But as long as their eye is, we're moving forward and we're still wrestling, I think that's positive because they know a lot of teams that, team up the road has canceled 3 out of 5 weekends. We haven't had to do that. So, we just, try to keep a perspective, keep them in perspective and keep working hard at it.
How important, having the 5 weeks off going into regionals, is it that the older guys kind of lead the team with their experience more than you guys?
Well, with our older guys, we got 4 returning national qualifiers, which they're all, seasoned guys, 3 and 4 years starting for us, and Fred Green's 6 or 7 years, but not really. But anyway, he's been around for a while. Yeah, we do have a lot of experience on there, and then we have some young guys that are freshmen too, that'll be wrestling in it, So, but you've got a kid like Kean Apple at 125s that hasn't qualified, but he's a 5th-year senior. He's been around. His eye is set on qualifying for the national tournament. You do have some younger guys. You've got some Ryan Wheeler and Gabriel Carranza that are both freshmen, but they've been wrestling. They've wrestled in big tournaments too. Now, no doubt, it's always different when it's put right out in front of you, but they've wrestled in big tournaments, national tournaments. They've wrestled, that's the thing about wrestling is they've wrestled them. And so, 149s is a pretty tough weight, so Ryan Wheeler has his work cut out for him. But these guys have all been up against that, so they'll be fine. And we'll be, maybe switching some things up at a couple other weights. We'll see what happens and kind of go from there. But hopefully I answered your question. Did I? Okay. I didn't hear the first part of it because you're masking. I'm hard of hearing. So.
What's the format for regionals and has it changed? Everything's changed.
Yes. And I really don't want to say yet because I don't quite know. We don't know because we haven't gotten all the information from the NCAA. We have, some testing protocol that's going to happen. That's still up in the air, so I really don't want to go into that. They say that, we kind of know how the layout's going to be. Qualifiers is going to be a little different with us having 7 teams. Obviously, we've dropped from 10. We know right now the champion will qualify. But since we've dropped in numbers, that'll drop our qualifiers too. And we don't quite know. We think it's going to be between the 5 and 8 number, I guess, just to be safe of what our wild cards would be, which is always interesting when you go that route. You got to kind of put a little weight, weigh out the weight, I should say, see what the tougher weights are, the top guys, in those weights, and then go from there. There's some different protocols, and it's tough because no matter what, we lost 25% of our qualifiers anyway, just Division II across the board. You lost that, and now we've dropped qualifiers, and of the teams that were in our region last year that we lost, the 3 teams had 4 qualifiers between those teams last year. So that really hurts some of the. It's not like we lost a team that qualifies a lot of guys. We lost teams that were, don't have as many qualifiers. Nothing against them. Nothing against that. But it's just the way it rolls. So, but we're still wrestling. That's our.
By the 27th, you should know what's going on, right? Kind of the way things
Is that
are.
Saturday? Is that a Saturday before Sunday? I don't know. Yeah.
Even then.
Yeah. And the regional will be on the 28th, the last day of February.
That's all we do.
That's all we know. Yep. And Saturday's the day before that with the basketball game, Saturday night. So we know that. So anyway, yeah. So we don't quite know all the protocol, and it's not 3 weeks away. And as we know in COVID land, anything can change any day. So we just kind of take it as it rolls. And we've had a lot of coaches call in. I'm sure ADs are calling in trying to figure out what's going on. And we're in meetings with the site committee. Meetings and all that stuff. So we'll see.
Good thing you don't even meet, so you can have all those meetings.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah. Anyway, Aaron, do you have any questions?
She has a question of the week for you.
I
Uh-oh.
know the answer to this question.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
Can I ask, right before we get the question of the week, is it nervy times for you with wrestlers being more quarantined and being more careful as we get closer and closer?
Oh, yeah. When you went through what you went through last year, when you see these guys' heart sink, that's nervous times. And the most nervous are the guys that went through it last year. You don't want to see a Corona, Latham, Negus, or a Fred Green. You don't want to see those guys go through that again after, working all year. And that is the nervous time of it. far as nervous, as far as regionals and that, we'll be all right there. I don't get too nervous about that, but just that for those guys would be horrible, or any of the other guys. But, you know, those guys have already been through that once, and you hate to see that for them. But that's my nerve. That's where my nerves would be. Just your heart just would feel horrible for them. They know it going in. They've bought in this year, and that's all we can do right now. Keep plugging away.
Question of the week, favorite road trip snack?
Peanuts? What was you gonna say,
I
Yonki?
was gonna say the wasabi almonds.
Oh, those wasabi almonds are pretty good too. Yep. I know the guys give me a hard, the Martinez and I have my jar of peanuts and I can just like that going down the road. But the wasabi almonds, pretty good. You know, I like my yogurt pretzels. Yeah, if they have yogurt in them, that cancels out some of your chocolate covered raisins. You know, chocolate covered raisins, those are healthy. The raisin is healthy and cancels out the chocolate. So it's 0 calories, right?
Well, if you get dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate is good for you,
Even,
right?
yeah. I mean, why would you? You know, you go down campus, you eat a salad, you can have dessert because they cancel out.